Welcome to the Aatrix W-2 eFile service. In this video, we'll give you an overview of the process to eFile your W-2s within the Aatrix W-2 Preparer wizard. To start, select the W-2s from the list of forms available in your payroll software. Once open, you will be presented with an option to run through a test drive of the software if you'd like to get familiar with the process yourself. The first part of the process is the company setup, where we ask you questions about your company to determine how the form needs to be filled out. The first screen we display is the company's EIN. We display this prominently so that you are able to confirm that the EIN is indeed correct and won't cause any problems with the filing. The next screen is for people who need to merge multiple payroll data files together. An example may be multiple companies or departments or divisions and sites, all of which may have different payroll data files, and those need to be merged together so that they can be all filed as one under one EIN through the Aatrix process. Next is the company information screen, where you can validate that all of the information for the company regarding the name, address, and contact information is correct. On the tax preparer type screen, you are asked whether you're filing for your company or employer, or if you're a third-party paid tax preparer filing for one or multiple companies or EINs. On the state and local tax item screen, it is very important to go through each state tax account number to ensure its accuracy and making sure that it won't be rejected when filed with that particular agency. On the data verification screen, we have some more questions for you to answer before continuing forward. Number 1 asks if you have any employees who are exempt from any part of Medicare or Social Security taxes, or who have deferred Social Security taxes under the CARES Act. Question 2 asks if you have any members of the clergy. 3 asks if you want to use control numbers. And lastly, 4 asks if you have any employees who have elected to receive electronic forms only for their W-2s. If that is indicated within the payroll software, it will automatically be selected for you. On the W-3 information screen, you're able to enter any particular information that needs to be entered in on the W-3 itself. The two required fields on this screen are the kind of payer and kind of employer. On the last screen in the company setup, you have an option to truncate the employee Social Security numbers on their copies. You can do so by truncating with asterisks or with X's. After finishing the company setup portion of the wizard, you are then presented with the W-2 Preparer. This is a spreadsheet-like grid that will allow you to make any adjustments or edit and view the data that is assigned to each employee. It has two sections, the left section containing all of the data for the employee's personal information, and everything on the right containing the actual amounts to be filed. Those two sections can be adjusted by sliding the slider in the middle of the screen to be able to make more room for whatever current section that you are working on. Each step within the preparer is an error check. Currently, we're looking at the employee information, so that is the information that is highlighted in blue. Once we hit next, it moves on to the next section, which is the additional employee information. And you can continue forward through this process to ensure that all of the data is error checked as you go throughout the wizard. Now it's verifying the federal information, the state information, and last but not least, all other data. For COVID reporting, you may notice new columns entered for Box 14 items, which would be the 511 EPSLA and the EFMLEA, and then the 200 EPSLA. Those boxes there will be assigned to Box 14 and displayed as such on the W-2s. If these columns did not populate in the preparer automatically, you can simply add a column by hitting the Edit Columns Insert Column option here, labeling the column, and then after you're done labeling the column, click on the drop-down arrow here to assign it to Box 14 and the appropriate COVID code. After you have gone through all of the data in the W-2 preparer, you are then presented with the W-2 printing and e-filing options. The complete service is our most popular option. Those services include print and mailing the employee copies next business day if submitted before 3 p.m. Central. Electronic copies will be available for any of those employees if elected to receive the electronic copies only. All copies will be available electronically for free of charge, regardless of whether they are electronic-only employees. We'll also file your W-2 and W-3 to the SSA and file the state W-2s and the reconciliation forms to the appropriate state agencies. Aatrix offers PDF archives of the filings so that you can have a copy of the filing in PDF format via a USB stick sent to you in case you need it for backup purposes. If you chose to e-file state forms, we will ask you what states you want us to e-file to. We do highly recommend that you keep all states selected, but for demonstration purposes, I will only select one of them. After making all your selections, we do ask you to review the data and review the actions that we will perform on your filing. In this case, you will see that we will e-file the federal W-2 and the W-3. We will e-file the Arkansas W-2 and their reconciliation report. The employee copies will be printed and mailed, and the employer copy will be a printable report as well. Now is your opportunity to verify all of the forms filled out in front of you. You are able to review the forms for accuracy as well as print off your own copies of each form that is produced through the process. If there are multiple pages to a form, you can simply click the green arrows back and forth to go through the different pages. After you're done reviewing, you can click Next Step. You may be prompted to insert certain paper in order to print your copies. After navigating through all of the forms, you are then presented with the Aatrix Secure eFile login. Here you will use the credentials that you used when signing up for the eFile service. After entering those credentials, you can simply log in. You will then be presented with the enrollment information that is currently on file for your account. Verify that this information is accurate, and click Next. You will be presented with a pricing breakdown of the charges that will be applied to a credit card for the processing fees. You will also be given an option to combine your W-2 and ACA forms together on one form, thereby saving costs and cutting the ACA reporting by 50%. If you do choose to do this option, make sure to select a date that is far enough out in advance for the employee copies for the W-2s to be sent that gives you enough time to submit the ACA forms 48 hours prior to that date. Another nice feature about the Aatrix eFile service is that we give you an option to be able to select what date or date range that you want your copy submitted to the agency or sent to the employee. After reviewing those selections, you can proceed forward. Here is where you can enter the credit card information for the processing fees. If you did choose to have us send you a PDF archive of the filing, we will validate the address that will be used to send that. And finally, the confirmation screen. If everything on this screen looks good, you can submit the filing to the eFile Center. At that point, you will be returned an AFID, which stands for an Aatrix Filing Identification Number. That ID can be used to reference this particular filing whenever you're talking to support via phone, email, or chat. That is it. The filing is now submitted to the Aatrix eFile Center. You will get a confirmation email sent to the email that is on file with us. You can always check the status of the filing and each part of that filing at efile.aatrix.com. Thanks for watching.